Rule 1, spend like nobody. It's a Friday night in 2026. You're 22. Your first real paycheck just landed. The number glows on your phone. $3,100 after taxes. And it feels like oxygen. After years of ramen and borrowed textbooks. You open the food app first, then the shoe app. Then the one that lets you finance a couch in 4 easy payments. Everything's just one thumb tap away. Nobody's watching. And that's the danger. Here's the scene of rich families quietly teaching at their kitchen tables. They teach their kids to spend like nobody's applauding. No audience, no performance. The car doesn't need a witness. You, though, you were raised by the timeline. You learned money from strangers holding rented sports cars. You learned that success looks like a checkout screen. And that lesson? It's expensive. So look at the real ground you're standing on. In 2026, the median asking rent in the United States sits close to $2,000 a month. That's Redfin data, 2025. Your paycheck is already half gone before you buy a single thing. Now, the harder number. The Federal Reserve reported back in 2023 that 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash. Not 4,000, 400. And these are grown adults and with jobs, cars, and followers. Then there's the wage story. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported median weekly earnings near $1,117 in 2024. That's the middle of the country. That's most people. That's probably you. So picture the contrast character. Meet Devin, 22, same paycheck as you. Devin leases the loud car for $600 a month. He posts it, he gets the likes, and he feels rich for exactly one weekend. Now meet the quiet version of you. You keep the used sedan you already own. You bank that $600 instead. That's $7,200 a year, invisible to everyone. Run the simple math with me. $600 a month invested at 7% for 10 years. That grows to roughly $104,000. Devin, he's got a trade-in and a memory. This is the reckoning nobody films. Wealth isn't what you show. Wealth is what you refuse to show. The richest people you'll ever meet look boring on purpose. You don't need to look poor. You need to look unremarkable. You need to become financially invisible while your money works in the dark. So tonight, close the apps, feel that itch to spend, and just sit with it. The itch passes in about 20 minutes. Your bank balance remembers forever. Spend like nobody's watching, because the only scoreboard that matters is private. The people performing wealth are usually just renting it. And you're 22. You still get to choose which one you become. Choose invisible. Then keep going. Rule 2, kill lifestyle creep. 2 years have passed. You're 24 now. You got the raise. Your income jumped from $3,100 a month to $4,400 after taxes. And you felt it for about a week. Then something strange happened. The money disappeared again. Same stress, same tight month, more income, same empty feeling. Welcome to the quietest trap in America. This is lifestyle creep. Your spending grew the exact moment your income did. The nicer apartment, the better phone plan, the habit of never checking the receipt. It feels like living. It's actually leaking. Rich families teach their kids one brutal rule here. When income rises, lifestyle stays flat. The raise isn't a reward as it's ammunition. You're supposed to bank the difference, not spend it. Look at how deep this runs all across the country. Lending Club reported in 2024 that roughly 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Not just the poor, everyone, including people earning 6 figures. Sit with that for a second. High earners, drowning, that's not an income problem, that's a creep problem. The lifestyle simply expanded to swallow the salary whole. Here's another hard number. The Bureau of Economic Analysis put the personal saving rate near 4.6% in early 2025. Americans save under 5 cents on the dollar. The rest just evaporates into a lifestyle. And behind it, there's the debt shadow. The New York Federal Reserve reported credit card balances crossed $1.17 trillion in 2024. That's the sound of creep, financed. That's comfort, bought on interest. Now your contrast character returns. Devin got the same raise you did. He upgraded his apartment. Higher rent, better view, same anxiety. His costs rose to meet his income perfectly. You did the opposite. You kept your old rent at $1,100, and you took the entire raise, $1,300 a month, and automated it into savings before you could even touch it. Run the calculation. $1,300 a month, saved automatically over 5 years. That's $78,000 in contributions alone. Invested near 7%, closer to $93,000. Devin's got a nicer view of the same problem. You've got most of a house down payment, same raise. 2 completely different lives. Here's the reckoning. Every upgrade you make becomes your new normal within 30 days. The joy fades fast, the bill stays forever. You traded permanent money for temporary novelty. So build a wall between your raise and your habits. When money goes up, freeze your spending in place. Automate the gap before your brain adjusts. Make saving the default, not the decision. You're 24, your income will rise many more times, and each raise is a fork in the road. One path buys stuff, the other buys freedom. Kill the creep now while it's small. It only gets stronger with your paycheck. Starve it early, and it never learns to eat you. Rule 3, feed the machine. You're 25. You finally have some money saved. It sits in a checking account, doing nothing, comfortable, safe, slowly dying. You just don't feel it yet. Here's the invisible math nobody explains at 25. Cash left alone doesn't stay still. Inflation eats it quietly and every single day, while you sleep. Doing nothing isn't neutral. It's a slow loss. Look at the recent damage. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported inflation peaked near 9.1% in June 2022, the highest in about 40 years, and your idle cash lost value that entire time. Even now in 2026, prices sit far above where they started this decade. $1 in your checking account buys less each month. Safety, it turns out, has a hidden fee. Rich families teach their kids to feed the machine early. The machine is compounding. You put money into ownership and time multiplies it while you do nothing. The earlier you feed it, the more it eats for you. So understand what you're actually buying. The S&P 500 returned roughly 10% annually on average over the long run. That's nearly a century of data from standard market history. Ownership pays. Cash doesn't. Here's the calculation that should keep you up tonight. You're 25. You invest $500 a month until 65. At an 8% average return rate, you end near $1.5 million. Now, the cruel part. Your actual contributions total only $240,000 over those 40 years. The other one point is $3 million? That came from time. No effort. Time. Meet your contrasting character again. Devin waited until 35 to start. Same $500 a month, same 8%. He ends up with $545,000. 10 years of delay cost Devin nearly $1 million. He didn't lose it in a crash, he lost it by waiting. The machine simply had less time to work. And that's the reckoning. Your greatest asset at 25 isn't your salary, it's the calendar. Every year you delay is a year the machine can't compound. You're burning your rarest resource. So start now. Imperfectly. With whatever you have. In 2026, open a low-cost index fund inside a Roth account if you qualify. Automate the contribution. Then stop touching it. Don't chase the hot stock your coworker mentions. Don't try to time the crash everyone keeps predicting. Boring and consistent beats brilliant and occasional. The machine rewards patience, not genius. Feel the discomfort of investing while prices feel scary. Everyone feels it. Then feed the machine anyway, month after month, storm after storm. Fear is the price of 10%. You're 25. You'll never be this young again. The machine is hungry and time is on sale. Feed it today, and it feeds you for life. Then walk away and let it work. Rule 4, watch the gap. You're 27 now, and your friends look like they're winning. Bigger apartments, newer cars, vacations you scroll past at midnight, and you feel a quiet, corrosive question. Am I behind? Here's the trap. You're comparing your bank account to their highlight reel. You see their spending. You never see their debt. The gap you feel as is mostly fiction. Rich families teach their kids to watch a different gap entirely. Not the gap between you and your friends. The gap between what you earn and what you keep. That number is the only scoreboard. Understand the real distances in this country. The Federal Reserve reported in 2022 that the top 10% held about 69% of all household wealth. The bottom half held roughly 3%. That gap is real. Yours is imagined. Now, the number that reframes everything. The Census Bureau reported median household net worth near $192,000 in 2022. Most of that sits in homes, not flashy cars. The wealth is quiet. And then there's the age truth. The Federal Reserve's 2022 data showed households under 35 held a median net worth near $39,000. Your peers aren't rich. They're performing on credit. So meet the contrast character clearly this time. Devin, 27, drives a $50,000 truck. He looks wealthy at every red light. He also owes $42,000 on it. His net worth is negative. You drive the paid-off sedan. You've got no car debt. You've got $60,000 invested and growing. You look poorer than Devin. You're worth $80,000 more. That's the gap that matters. Not the parking lot, but the balance sheet. One of you owns things. The other owes things. And only one is actually free. Run your own math tonight. Add up what you own. Subtract what you owe. That single number is your net worth. Write it down, even if it stings. Then track it every month. Watch the gap between income and spending become the fuel for that number. A widening gap builds wealth. A shrinking gap builds a prison. Here's the reckoning. Comparison will rob you your entire life if you let it. There's always a newer car, a nicer view, a louder friend. You cannot win a race with no finish line. So stop watching them. Start watching your gap. In 2026, the smart move is to measure your progress against last month's version of you. Nobody else. The people you envy are often one lost paycheck from collapse. Lending Club's 2024 data confirmed even high earners live paycheck to paycheck. The truck doesn't mean safety. It usually means fragility. You're 27. The envy will keep coming, sharper every year. Answer it with your own numbers. Quietly, privately, relentlessly. Watch the gap that builds you. Ignore the gap that shames you. One is math, the other is theater. Choose math. Rule 5, face the number. You're 30, and it happens on an ordinary Tuesday night. You finally sit down and add everything up. Every account, every debt, every dollar you've avoided looking at for years. Your heart is loud. You've been circling this moment for a decade. The bills you swiped past, the balances you ignored. But tonight you stop running. Tonight you face the number. This is the reckoning rich families force early. They make their kids know their number is cold, net worth, debt, savings rate, no blur, no maybe. Clarity is the whole point. You maybe? You avoided it out of fear. That's human. But avoidance has a cost, and the cost compounds too. The unopened bill still grows there in the dark. Look at how common your avoidance really is. The New York Federal Reserve reported credit card delinquencies rose sharply through 2024. People stopped facing their numbers. The numbers didn't stop growing. And the interest? Merciless. The Federal Reserve reported average credit card rates above 21% in 2024. Carry a balance and it doubles roughly every 3.5 years. That's the math of drowning slowly. Now the emergency truth again. The Fed's 2023 report showed 37% couldn't cover $400. And many never faced their number until it faced them. A car repair, a hospital bill, a collapse. So run it. Right now. Honestly. Say you found $8,000 in credit card debt at 22%. Minimum payments stretch that out for years, and you'd pay thousands in pure interest. But watch the reversal. Attack that $8,000 with $1,000 a month. You're debt-free in under 9 months. The bleeding stops. The panic fades. Meet Devin at 30. He still refuses to look. He tells himself it's fine. But his balances quietly climbed to $19,000. And now the number runs his life. You looked. And that's the entire difference. Facing the number hurts for one night. Avoiding it hurts for a decade. Pain now is cheaper than pain later. Here's what facing it actually gives you. Control. The monster in the dark is always bigger than the monster in the light. Once you see the real number, you can finally fight it. So build your one page in 2026. List every debt, every rate, every balance. List every asset. Calculate your true net worth and update it monthly without flinching. Then feel the strange relief that follows. The dread was worse than the truth. It almost always is. Clarity is uncomfortable, then it's freeing. You're 30. You can't fix what you refuse to measure. You can't heal a wound you won't look at. The number isn't your enemy. Denial is. Face it tonight. All of it, with the lights on. Whatever it says, you can now begin. The first honest number is the start of every recovery. Look, then act. Rule 6, rebuild the foundation. You're 31. You faced your number last year. It hurt. Now comes the harder part. Not the reckoning, but the rebuild. And this is where most people quit. Rich families don't teach a dramatic rescue. They teach a boring foundation. Emergency fund first, then debt destruction, then relentless investing. Same steps, every generation, no drama. So start with the floor beneath you. In 2026, the smart move is a fully funded emergency account. 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash, untouchable. This is the wall against catastrophe. And you saw why it matters. The Fed's 2023 report showed 37% couldn't survive a $400 shock. That fragility ends here. Your floor makes you unshakable. Now do the math on your foundation. Say your monthly expenses are $3,000. 6 months means $18,000 in cash. Save $1,500 a month. and you're protected in 1 year. Then turn to the debt. Attack the highest interest first. The Fed reported card rates above 21% in 2024. Nothing you invest in reliably beats 21%. So kill that debt like it's on fire. Meet Devin at 31. He tried to rebuild in one heroic weekend. Extreme budget, no cushion. One car repair wiped him out, and he landed right back in debt. You built slower. You funded the emergency floor first. So when your transmission died, you paid cash. No new debt. No spiral. The foundation held. That's the difference between motivation and structure. Devin had passion. You had a system. Passion fades by Wednesday. Systems survive the whole year. Now feed the machine again on solid ground. Automate your investing. The S&P 500 returned near 10% annually over the long run, per standard market history. Slow, boring, unstoppable. Layer the foundation in order. Emergency fund, high interest debt, retirement accounts, then long-term index investing. Each layer supports the next. Skip one, and the whole thing wobbles. Here's the reckoning inside the rebuild. You'll want it fast. You'll want the dramatic transformation you saw online. But real wealth is built in unglamorous, repetitive months. And nobody films those. Understand the savings truth again. The Bureau of Economic Analysis put the saving rate near 4.6% in early 2025. To rebuild, you have to live far above that. Aim for 20% or more. So automate everything you can in 2026. Make good choices without your willpower. Willpower fails. Automation doesn't sleep. Let the system carry you on the hard days. You're 31. The rebuild will feel slow for a long time. Then one day the foundation is simply there. Emergency fund full. Debt gone. Investments growing without you. Don't chase the dramatic comeback. Build the boring foundation instead. Boring is what survives recessions, layoffs, and bad luck. Rebuild it brick by brick, month by month. The foundation you lay now holds the rest of your life. Then build up. Rule 7. Own your freedom. You're 35. It's another ordinary morning, but something has shifted. You open your accounts and feel no dread, just quiet. The panic that lived in your chest for years is gone. This is what the rules were always building toward. Not a car, not a house, not a number to brag about. Freedom. The freedom to choose your own days. Rich families teach this final rule as the whole point. Money isn't for showing. Money is for options. The ability to walk away. The ability to say no. Understand what most people never reach. The Fed's 2022 data showed households under 35 held a median net worth near $39,000. You're far past that now. Quietly, without an audience. Here's your number. You invested consistently from 25, $500 a month, then more. By 35, you sit near $100,000 invested. The foundation is real. Now the freedom of math. That $100,000 at 8% doubles roughly every 9 years. Untouched, it becomes $200,000 by 44, $400,000 by 53, and you barely lift a finger. This is financial independence forming. The standard rule says 25 times your annual expenses fund a work-optional life. Spend $40,000 a year and $1 million sets you free. You can see it now. Meet Devin one last time at 35. Same starting salary as you 13 years ago. He performed wealth the entire way. Cars, views, vacations. His net worth is near zero. Devin still can't miss a paycheck. He looks successful and lives terrified. You look ordinary and sleep deeply. That was the trade all along. Here's the final reckoning. Every dollar you refused to show became a day you got to own. Every skipped upgrade bought a piece of your freedom. The boring choices built a beautiful life. You're 35. You still work, but now, by choice. You could survive a layoff for a year. You could change careers. You could breathe. That's the whole reward. The rules were never about deprivation. Spend like nobody. Kill the creep, feed the machine, watch the gap, face the number, rebuild the foundation. Each one was bought this morning. In 2026, the smart move hasn't changed. Start young, stay invisible, automate everything. Let time do the impossible work. Ignore the performers, trust the math. You began at 22 with $3,100 and 1,000 temptations. And you chose the invisible path every single time. Nobody clapped. It didn't matter. You were never building for them. Here's the truth beneath all 7 rules. Wealth was never about looking rich. It was about becoming free, while everyone else stayed trapped. Freedom is the only thing money can truly buy. Subscribe.